A man who spends most of his time alone is a man who learns how to depend on no one. And that in itself is dangerous, not in the reckless, destructive way that weak men fear, but in the way that makes him unshakable. Society thrives on dependency, on validation, on external reinforcement, on constant stimulation. But the man who is comfortable in solitude does not seek those things. And because of that, he cannot be easily controlled. Solitude strips away the distractions of daily life. Most people are terrified of silence because silence reveals truths they would rather ignore. The man who embraces solitude, however, does not run from those truths. He confronts them. He examines his own mind, his own weaknesses, his own insecurities. And in doing so, he becomes sharp, deliberate, and incredibly difficult to deceive. He is dangerous because he does not crave approval. When a man exists primarily in the company of others, he is often shaped by their expectations. He bends, he adjusts, he conforms to maintain social harmony. But the man who spends time alone is not softened by the need to fit in. He sees the world as it is, not as he wishes it to be. And that kind of clarity makes him powerful when a man spends enough time alone. He learns the value of silence. He does not speak just to fill the air. He does not argue for the sake of being heard. His words are chosen with precision, and because they are rare, they are respected. The loudest voice in the room is rarely the most intelligent one. The most dangerous man is the one who listens, who absorbs, who processes before he speaks. But perhaps the most unsettling truth about a man who is always alone is this: he has mastered control. He does not react emotionally because he has spent enough time with himself to understand his impulses. He has analyzed his fears, his desires, and his strengths. And because of that, he does not lash out carelessly. He is calm, patient, and deliberate. And in a world where most people are easily provoked, a man who remains unmoved is unpredictable. The man who walks alone also moves without attachments. This does not mean he is cold or heartless. It means he is free. He does not seek validation from relationships, social circles, or institutions. He does not need constant reassurance that he is on the right path. He trusts himself, and that kind of self-trust is one of the most dangerous qualities a person can have. It makes him immune to manipulation. If he cannot be bribed with attention, he cannot be controlled. Society often misunderstands men who choose solitude. They are called distant, antisocial, even dangerous in the negative sense. But in reality, the most dangerous thing about them is their self-sufficiency. They are the ones who move with quiet certainty while others scramble for direction. They are the ones who remain stable when the world around them collapses. And that, more than anything, is what makes them powerful. Isolation forces a person to confront the reality of their own existence without the distractions of external validation or constant social reinforcement. When an individual is alone, they cannot rely on the presence of others to define their worth, solve their problems, or provide a sense of purpose. This absence of external support creates a situation where self-sufficiency is not just a preference, but a necessity. The first thing that isolation teaches is responsibility. When a person is alone, there is no one else to blame for their failures, and there is no one else to rely on for their successes. Every choice, every mistake, and every achievement is entirely their own. This level of accountability forces a person to take control of their actions, their thoughts, and their circumstances in a way that is often avoided when surrounded by others without the constant noise of social interaction. An individual in isolation learns to think deeply and critically. They develop the ability to analyze their situation, assess their strengths and weaknesses, and make decisions based on logic rather than emotional influence. This kind of mental clarity is rare in a world that constantly demands immediate responses and superficial engagement. Making those who cultivate it exceptionally capable, isolation also demands the development of practical skills. When there is no one to turn to for help, a person must learn how to solve their own problems, whether they be physical, emotional, or intellectual. From basic survival skills to financial independence, the isolated individual is forced to become competent in multiple areas of life. Over time, this competence builds into confidence, reinforcing the belief that they can handle challenges without assistance, another aspect of self-sufficiency. that isolation fosters is emotional resilience. Fun. Many people rely on others to regulate their emotions, seeking comfort, validation, or distraction in times of distress. A person who spends time alone must develop their own methods for dealing with emotional turmoil, whether through introspection, discipline, or creative outlets. This ability to self regulate ensures that they do not become dependent on others for their sense of stability. One of the most overlooked benefits of isolation is the ability to set and maintain personal standards without external interference. When surrounded by people, it is easy to adopt their expectations, beliefs, and habits, often without realizing it. In isolation, a person must define their own values, establish their own routines, and hold themselves accountable to their own principles. This creates a foundation of self discipline that is not easily shaken by outside influences. Isolation also provides an individual with the time and space necessary for mastery. Whether in intellectual pursuits, physical training, or creative endeavors, uninterrupted solitude allows for deep focus and sustained effort. Many of the world's greatest minds, artists, and leaders have spent extended periods in isolation, using that time to develop skills that would later set them apart from the rest of society. This mastery, once achieved, becomes another layer of self sufficiency. Being alone also forces a person to become comfortable with discomfort. Without the distractions of social interaction or external entertainment, they must learn to sit with their thoughts, their fears, and their uncertainties. This process is often painful at first, but those who endure it emerge with a level of inner stability that is rare and powerful. They no longer need to escape themselves because they have built a mind that is strong enough to withstand solitude. There is also a unique kind of problem solving ability that comes from isolation. When constantly surrounded by people, it is easy to ask for help, seek opinions, or rely on external solutions. When alone, a person must develop their own methods of reasoning and deduction. They learn to approach challenges with patience, experimentation, and adaptability, strengthening their ability to navigate life independently. A self sufficient individual is also less susceptible to manipulation. Many people rely on social approval to feel secure, making them easy to influence through praise, criticism, or societal pressure. A person who has built their confidence and competence in isolation does not seek validation from others, which makes them resistant to deception, coercion, and emotional influence. They make decisions based on their own reasoning rather than the expectations of the group. Isolation can also deepen a person's understanding of human nature. When constantly interacting with others, it is difficult to step back and observe the patterns of behavior, motivations, and social dynamics that shape human relationships. A person who spends time alone develops a more objective perspective on how people think, act, and manipulate. This insight makes them more aware, more discerning, and less likely to be caught off guard by social games. Perhaps the greatest gift of isolation is the realization that self sufficiency is not just about surviving alone, it is about thriving independently. A person who has mastered solitude does not fear being alone, nor do they need others to complete them. They choose relationships based on genuine connection rather than dependency, and they navigate the world with the confidence of someone who knows they can stand on their own. The self sufficient individual is not isolated because they cannot function in society. They are isolated because they have taken the time to develop their mind, their skills, and their independence to such a degree that they do not need to be constantly surrounded by others to feel. Whole silence is often misunderstood as emptiness. Yet within its stillness lies an unparalleled source of strength. In a world dominated by constant noise, the ability to embrace silence becomes a powerful tool for inner resilience. Those who cultivate silence learn to harness its energy, using it as a means of self discovery, emotional stability, and mental clarity. Unlike the turbulence of external chatter, silence offers a sanctuary where thoughts can settle and inner fortitude can grow. In the absence of noise, individuals confront their inner selves without distraction. Many people rely on external sounds to fill the void, avoiding the discomfort that comes with solitude. However, those who embrace silence allow themselves to listen to their deepest thoughts and emotions. This internal dialogue fosters a stronger connection with oneself, enabling a person to cultivate self awareness and emotional intelligence. Silence nurtures patience, a rare quality in an impatient world. When individuals learn to sit in silence without the need for immediate gratification, they develop a hidden sense of endurance. This patience translates into various aspects of life, from handling adversity to making well considered decisions. The ability to remain composed in moments of uncertainty stems from the discipline of embracing quietness. Strength does not always manifest in loud displays of power. Often it is found in the quiet resolve of those who refuse to be shaken by external chaos. Silence teaches control over words, preventing impulsive reactions that may lead to regret. Those who understand the power of silence recognize that not every situation demands a verbal response, and sometimes silence itself is the most powerful statement. Deep reflection thrives in silence, allowing individuals to process complex emotions and difficult experiences. When external distractions are stripped away, the mind gains the space it needs to analyze situations with clarity. Through this process, one learns to approach challenges with a calm and measured perspective, strengthening emotional resilience. The silence acts as a shield against negativity, offering protection from the overwhelming energy of the external world. In moments of silence, individuals can distance themselves from toxic influences, choosing instead to focus on their inner peace. This withdrawal is not an act of weakness, but one of strength, as it requires the ability to prioritize mental well being over external validation. Great leaders throughout history have understood the power of silence. Their ability to remain composed in times of crisis, to listen more than they speak, and to think before acting stems from their respect for quiet contemplation. Silence allows leaders to observe, analyze, and strategize effectively, ensuring that their actions are purposeful rather than reactive. Practice of silence strengthens concentration and mindfulness. In a world filled with distractions, the ability to sit in stillness and focus on the present moment becomes an invaluable skill. Those who master silence cultivate an unshakable focus, enabling them to achieve goals with precision and determination. Silence is a vessel for wisdom as it encourages deep listening and thoughtful consideration. Many people speak to fill space, but true strength lies in the ability to remain silent and absorb knowledge. Those who listen more than they speak develop a profound understanding of the world around them, making them wise and insightful individuals. In silence, healing occurs. In silence, healing occurs. The body and mind require moments of stillness to repair, rejuvenate, and restore balance. Whether through meditation, quiet contemplation, or solitude, silence provides a sanctuary for self renewal. Those who incorporate silence into their lives experience a heightened sense of well being and resilience. The strength found in silence extends beyond the individual, influencing relationships and interactions with others. When people practice silence, they learn the art of active listening, creating deeper and more meaningful connections. By allowing space for others to express themselves, they cultivate stronger bonds built on understanding and respect. It fosters discipline as it requires the ability to resist the urge for constant stimulation. In a society addicted to noise, those who can embrace silence demonstrate remarkable self-control. This discipline extends to other areas of life, from maintaining focus on long-term goals to resisting unnecessary distractions. Through silence, individuals access a profound inner power that remains untapped by many. The quiet moments in life are where true strength is forged, where resilience is built, and where clarity emerges. Silence is not an absence, but a force, shaping those who embrace it into stronger, wiser, and more composed individuals. Solitude has a way of stripping away the noise of the world, leaving individuals face to face with their innermost thoughts and emotions. In moments of isolation, there is no external validation or distraction to shape one's perception, forcing an unfiltered confrontation with the self. This process of deep reflection allows individuals to evaluate their past, understand their present, and contemplate their future in ways that are often impossible amid the chaos of daily life. Without the influence of constant social interactions, people begin to recognize patterns in their thoughts and behaviors. Solitude creates the space necessary for self-examination, offering the opportunity to dissect personal motivations, regrets, and aspirations. The mind, unburdened by outside perspectives, can freely explore the depths of its own consciousness, uncovering truths that often remain hidden in the presence of others. Reflection in solitude often leads to emotional revelations that may have been ignored or suppressed. But pain, joy, regret, and hope resurface with intensity, demanding to be acknowledged. This process of emotional reckoning is both challenging and necessary, as it allows for healing and personal growth. When left alone with one's emotions, there is no choice but to process them in their rawest form, leading to a greater understanding of the self. As the mind turns inward, solitude forces individuals to reevaluate their values and beliefs. Many people adopt societal norms and opinions without question, but isolation provides an opportunity to analyze whether these external influences truly align with personal convictions. In the absence of external pressure, individuals can redefine their sense of purpose, strengthening their commitment to what truly matters to them. Creativity flourishes in solitude as it allows for undisturbed introspection and original thought. Great thinkers, writers, and artists have long sought solitude to cultivate their ideas and bring their visions to life. When free from external distractions, the mind can connect disparate thoughts, forming new insights and unlocking creative potential that often remains dormant in the presence of others. In the silence of solitude, clarity emerges. The distractions of daily life can cloud judgment, making it difficult to distinguish between genuine desires and societal expectations. When alone, individuals can reassess their goals with greater precision, determining which aspirations stem from personal fulfillment rather than external influence. This heightened clarity paves the way for more deliberate and meaningful life choices. Solitude offers an opportunity to confront personal fears that are often drowned out by the distractions of social interactions. Many individuals keep themselves busy to avoid facing their deepest anxieties, but in isolation, these fears demand attention. Though uncomfortable, this confrontation is essential for personal growth, allowing individuals to recognize their vulnerabilities and work toward overcoming them. Deep reflection in solitude also enhances problem solving skills. When individuals are alone, they are forced to rely on their own reasoning and intuition to navigate challenges. Without immediate input from others, the mind becomes more adept at critical thinking, fostering a sense of independence and self reliance that strengthens one's ability to handle adversity. Time spent in solitude encourages a reevaluation of relationships and social dynamics. Without the noise of external influences, individuals gain a clearer perspective on the people in their lives. Recognizing which connections are genuine and which may be based on convenience or superficiality. This process leads to a more intentional approach to relationships, prioritizing those that bring true fulfillment and personal growth. Solitude reveals the difference between loneliness and being alone. Many fear isolation because they associate it with emptiness, yet true solitude fosters a sense of completeness that does not rely on external validation. Learning to be content in one's own company strengthens emotional resilience, transforming solitude from a source of discomfort into a powerful tool for self discovery. Spirituality often deepens in solitude as it provides the space needed to reflect on existential questions and personal beliefs. Many religious and philosophical traditions emphasize the importance of isolation in achieving enlightenment, recognizing that the absence of distraction allows for a more profound connection with the self and the universe. In this quiet space, individuals contemplate the greater meaning of life, leading to insights that shape their personal journey. Solitude serves as a mirror, reflecting an unfiltered image of the self. In the stillness, individuals see their strengths and weaknesses with unprecedented clarity, recognizing both their potential and the areas in need of growth. This self awareness fosters a deeper sense of authenticity, allowing individuals to align their actions with their true identity rather than external expectations. Through solitude, individuals cultivate a relationship with their inner world, one that is often neglected in the rush of modern life. The ability to sit alone with one's thoughts without seeking distraction is a skill that leads to self mastery, emotional depth, and a greater understanding of life's complexities. Mastery is often seen as the pinnacle of skill, the point at which an individual has perfected their craft, but within mastery lies an inherent danger. The pursuit of excellence demands relentless dedication, often consuming the mind and body to the point of obsession. When mastery is achieved, the challenge shifts from improvement to maintaining dominance, a task that can breed complacency, arrogance, or even self destruction. The journey to mastery requires sacrifices that few are willing to make. Time, relationships, and personal well being are often placed on the altar of excellence, leaving individuals isolated in their pursuit. The deeper one ventures into mastery, the more difficult it becomes to relate to those who have not followed the same path. This isolation can create a sense of detachment from the world, making it challenging to find meaning outside of one's expertise. With great mastery comes immense pressure as expectations from both oneself and others rise to unmanageable levels. The fear of failure becomes magnified, as even the slightest misstep can be perceived as a fall from greatness. Those who master their craft often live under the constant weight of perfection, where anything less than excellence feels like a personal and public failure. Mastery can blind individuals to new perspectives, trapping them in a rigid framework of expertise. The more skilled one becomes, the harder it is to accept alternative viewpoints or methods. This tunnel vision can hinder growth, as the master may resist change or dismiss innovation in favor of their own perfected approach. The inability to adapt can turn mastery into stagnation, rendering past accomplishments obsolete. Power accompanies mastery, and with power comes temptation. Those who reach the heights of their craft wield influence over others, whether intentionally or not. This authority can be used for good, but it also opens the door to manipulation, corruption, and exploitation. The illusion of invincibility may lead masters to believe they are beyond reproach, making them vulnerable to their own unchecked desires. The pursuit of mastery can erode the joy that once fueled passion. What begins as a love for a skill or discipline can transform into an exhausting obligation. The transition from student to master brings with it a shift in perspective, where creativity and exploration are often replaced by routine and expectation. In this space, mastery can become a burden rather than a reward. Perfection is a double-edged sword, for once it is approached, the need for further improvement diminishes. A master may lose the drive to push boundaries, believing they have already reached the peak of their potential. This false summit can lead to complacency, where growth halts and repetition takes over, robbing the individual of the hunger that once propelled them forward. The higher one climbs, the further there is to fall. Masters stand atop their respective fields, but the same reputation that elevates them can also become their undoing. A single mistake, a shift in public perception, or the rise of a new competitor can threaten everything they have built. The fragility of mastery makes it a precarious position, one where past achievements offer no protection against future failures. Obsessing over mastery can distort priorities, leading individuals to measure their worth solely through their achievements. When identity becomes inseparable from expertise, any flaw or setback feels like a personal failure. The inability to separate oneself from their craft can lead to an existential crisis, where life beyond mastery feels meaningless or unfulfilling. Time works against mastery, as skills that once defined greatness may eventually fade. Physical prowess declines, mental sharpness wanes, and the world continuously evolves, leaving even the most accomplished individuals struggling to keep pace. The inevitability of decline looms over every master, forcing them to confront the reality that no level of expertise can defy the passage of time. The burden of expectation grows heavier with each success, as the world demands more from those who have proven their greatness. Masters are rarely afforded the freedom to fail, as their reputation is built on consistent excellence. This unrelenting pressure can drive individuals to extremes, pushing them beyond their limits in a desperate attempt to maintain their position. In the pursuit of mastery, the line between dedication and obsession blurs. What begins as ambition can transform into an all-consuming force, leaving little room for anything else. The deeper one ventures into mastery, the harder it becomes to walk away, even when the pursuit begins to take more than it gives. Mastery, for all its rewards, is a treacherous path that demands everything in exchange for excellence. It is a pursuit that offers glory but extracts a price, one that few recognize until they are too far to turn back.